How's an Arsenal team who have been in title contention for many years before, suddenly in a situation where Craig says they get a nice win away against Crystal Palace, but still the big takeaway is how far they are off the pace?
Well, it's really down to not bringing enough good players in. I mean, you saw this game today, and there was absolutely nothing dynamic at any stage about Arsenal, and it's kind of been the same all season. There's nothing dynamic about them. You know, we used to be able to say that they moved the ball well and they created. They're just kind of, they're getting it done. They got it done today, but, you know, certainly compared to City, but compared to some other teams as well, they're way off the pace.
Well, look, last night I thought that they would win the game, but I thought it would be a much better. I thought Palace would offer more. They've been playing reasonably well. Roy Hodgson's got them off the bottom of the table more or less, you know, in sort of a, you know, playing in some sort of a rhythm. But they didn't really show. Arsenal should have had this game dead and buried in the first half. Absolutely no two ways about that. And the same thing happened again with Arsenal. The mental frailties, whether it's the quality coming in from the management, player-wise, or there's just mental strength. They give a poor goal away. There's nobody tracking Townsend on the edge of the box when he buries it. So you think, oh, here we go again. And all of a sudden, the game that should have been a comfortable game for Arsenal, if they play up to their levels, it wasn't a comfortable game. And it was a little bit boring, to be honest. I mean, when Tompkins comes in at the end on the far post, you think, OK, what's going to happen? They go zonal. Nobody marks them. Nobody attacks the ball. Absolutely ridiculous defending, and it's not going to change.
Last night you were thinking about who was going to win the game.
Yeah.
Last night I was thinking about throwing myself off a really large bridge, thinking about we're having to lead the show with this today again. And we have to, and I understand it. But this is where we are. This was a good result for Arsenal away from home.
Yep.
But in the context of this football club and the chasing pack of Manchester City, they're nothing more than a club and a team and a manager full of excuses at the moment that will probably, and we haven't heard the press conference from Arsene Wenger just yet, will have some mention of Pep Guardiola and Manchester City's spending.
Guardiola.
Him as well.
He's spending as well.
So what are we supposed to say? Wasn't it a good night for Crystal Palace because they're fighting relegation? They probably will be all right. Good result for Arsenal on the road in the context of an away win. But what's the big picture here for these clubs?
How's about we forget about Man City? Otherwise, you're not going to last to the end of the season. You're going to have a heart attack or throw yourself off that bridge or whatever it is you're going to do.
It might not make the end of the game.
It might not make the end of this bloody show, for God's sake.
If we're going to compare everybody to Manchester City, then we've no chance.
Well, that's what we need to do.
At the same time, I mean, you talk about two sides of the coin. Arsenal and Manchester City.
You just said stop comparing people to Manchester City.
You did.
I did.
Forget about them.
I did.
Forget them. They're not in the title. It's 19 teams. City don't exist.
I did, but if Arsenal want to get in the top four,
Right,
then they have to do something in January, which seems pretty unlikely because the team they have right now, and certainly the starting 11 they have right now, hasn't got a hope, in my opinion, of getting in the top four and don't deserve to be. You know, if you look at the table, they're 1 point off the top four.
Yeah.
But as far as the way they play the game, as far as the dynamics of the team, they're way behind the others.
The thing is, when Roy Hodgson must have saw that team sheet tonight, Chambers playing on the right-hand side of that three. That's tailor-made for Zaha to go and absolutely carve him apart. So Chambers goes and gets himself a yellow card. We said when we were watching it, feed Zaha, feed him, and let him go at Chambers. They never did it. They didn't do enough of it. Now, you look at the protection. You know, let's go back to talking about the players that Arsenal have brought in. Wilshere and Granit Xhaka protecting that back three was ridiculous. I've never seen so much space given. But the ball...
But they won the game.
Palace won at the races, I'll give you that. But that ball should have been going into Benteke all day long and spinning off the back and Kabay getting it. They didn't do it,
The
though.
fact they won the game is more to do with Palace, isn't it? I mean, like, what decent team is going to
Surely
look
it's
at
more
that
to do with
Arsenal
Alexis
team?
Sanchez.
The only thing I'm interested in with Arsenal is the Europa League, which I'm never normally interested in. But
You're
I might
never interested in the Europa.
I might be if Arsenal go a bit further. I don't know. We'll give it time. Take a few tablets, see what happens. And what happens with Ozil, what happens with Sanchez. We know what's going to happen with Wenger because he'll be there next season. So these are the kind of things that are going to push the Arsenal narrative in the next couple of months. What's going to happen with some of the key players and who they're going to sign, who they're going to lose, what's going to happen with, as you mentioned, Sanchez, who still has a big key.
He's going to go, isn't he?
Yeah, and why wouldn't he go? Why would he not leave a club at the moment who are in a rut in terms of where they want to go? Right? Why wouldn't he? As soon as Wenger signed that contract last year, the writing was on the wall. So,
But
expect him to go.
Sanchez was offered that.
Will it be City? I don't know.
Sanchez was offered the contract after they got done 10-2 on aggregate with Bayern. He said, "No, this is not for me." So the writing's been on the wall as far as he's concerned for quite some time. But he just didn't go. He thought he was going to go in the summer window. It didn't happen.
I think we'd all agree that Sanchez is going to go, right?
Yes.
So why don't we think Ozil's going to go? Can you imagine being Ozil? Can you imagine Ozil in the summer sticks a World Cup winner's medal in his pocket and then goes back to Arsenal? If you're a player, why would you do that? Why are you going to go and win the World Cup and then going back and play with a team who you know have got little chance either of winning the Premier League and maybe not even getting in the top four? Why would Ozil do that?
See,
I wouldn't.
Arsenal have won a game tonight away from home in South London. We've all played at Selhurst Park. I tell you what, it's always generally not an easy night down there.
Yeah.
And they've won a game. But I think certainly where I'm coming from here is that all these coaches and all this money, I'm trying to say his name right, but Guardiola.
Correct.
Guardiola this season is
Please
making...
don't say that every time.
Yeah.
Call him Pep. He's just making a mockery of the rest. He's making a mockery of the rest at the moment. And I'm not talking about the smaller guys. I'm talking about the so-called big guns. And all we keep hearing from the other teams, pre-match press conference, post-match press conference, is spending.
Yeah.
That's all we keep hearing. It's so boring. It's so boring because these guys need... I said it last night and I'll say it again and I'll say it tomorrow because I want tomorrow. They need to get their ducks in a row.
On coach. Pep's coaching.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Pep is actually coaching. And every single player that's ever played for them will tell you that. And the rest of them are all crying about the money.
See what the fullbacks are doing?
We said it yesterday.
Fullbacks
though.
tucking in when they've got possession and they get an extra midfielder, squeezing on to win the ball back in a certain period of time, working as units. Centre-halves have got better. Every area of that Man City team has got better, regardless of what they've spent, right? No other team. Is there another team outside the top boys that we can say that for?
There we are.
Why are you laughing?
Because we're talking about Manchester City again. We've gone full circle.
Should we talk about Arsenal sitting in sixth place?
No longer, hopefully no longer, will you sit and watch Liverpool and think that every single time a team goes forward, they're going to score, because this guy has the potential just to take everything by the scruff of the neck and lead that back line.
Let's be honest. Stevie, I mean, it's what I said yesterday, but when I said the jury's out on him, I didn't mean like that in a bad way. I just meant it in the way that Stevie said, is can he step up to play in front of the Kop every second week? And have a big travelling support every you know, when they're not playing at home, the big travelling support goes away from home, the TV cameras are there, the expectations are there. That's the only thing that could make it crumble for the lad, or injuries. But let's be quite frank here. Liverpool need a goalkeeper, a right-back and a left-back. And Joe Gomez is young, Trent Alexander-Arnold is young. They've got Robertson, who's OK. They've got Moreno, who's a disaster. Right? If they're playing Champions League football every year, they need two full-backs and a goalkeeper to go with that.
So, having said all of that, how significant is this signing with regards to where they're going to finish this season? Is it a difference maker in that sense?
Essentially.
Do you think so?
Premier League, in terms of getting in the top four?
Exactly.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, the only thing you know is Liverpool are going to score goals. And before this guy came, the only thing you knew, Liverpool were going to throw goals away. This could possibly change that whole second part of it. And if that's the case, then no question, Liverpool should cruise into the top 4.
Second?
Second?
Possibly. Possibly. You can't rely on Chelsea.
No.
You can't rely on Chelsea. You can't rely on Tottenham.
If we go back to the start of the year,
We're looking at third straight away.
Right.
And if Man United start slipping up, then it's possible. It's possible.
you're scrambling for 4th at the moment. Did you have Liverpool in the top 4 at the start of the season?
No, I did not.
Right, there you go.
I'll tell you what, hold on a second.
No, you got them in
I didn't
second.
have them in top. I didn't have them in the top 4, and they're sitting right in 4 now without having a decent centre back that they've just signed. So now that means that they're completely solidified in the top 4. And if he does what I think he can do and what he's expected to do, hold on a second. Oh, so you're pinning your top
Liverpool are
Chelsea?
what's that? Liverpool are solidified in the top 4.
Absolutely.
Ahead of Tottenham and Arsenal. Solidified.
Absolutely.
Solidified.
Absolutely.
You're going to. I tell you what. You're going to choke on that.
What has been Liverpool's only problem this season?
Goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper,
A goalkeeper and a centre
full-back.
back. A goalkeeper and a centre back. A goalkeeper and a centre back.
Holding
They're
midfield
sitting in
player.
4th, and they've just signed the best centre back available in Europe.
If that's
So
solidifying.
how does that not solidify
Look, on-
their place
on paper,
ahead of 2 teams
it
and
helps
Arsenal,
them.
who have just said
Yeah, I know.
are unreal, by the way, to
Tottenham,
watch.
Harry
And
Kane.
Tottenham, who in the Premier League have been as inconsistent as they've been consistent in the last 3 years.
Hey, you've just asked him to play under massive pressure at a massive club in Liverpool. You've just piled more and more pressure on this kid, because what you've just said is that he is the be-all and end-all to get you lot in the 3rd or 2nd.
I picked Liverpool
I
to
didn't.
get top 4,
You wanna
right?
listen?
And 4th place, but he's
You wanna listen?
solidifying them.
Right.
That's it. That's it. They've signed Van Dijk. That
this
is
signing
it.
will
Forget the
solidify them
fact
in
that
the top
Tottenham have got
4.
Harry Kane. And by the way, a damn good defence with Alderweireld and Vertonghen
I tell you
and
what, they're so
Sanchez.
good. Where are they
Forget
sitting?
them.
They're sitting in 5th.
Yeah, I would imagine that's quite close to 4th.
Sorry, it's behind 4th.
Yeah,
4th, right?
but it solidifies.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Solidifies.
Yes.
Van Dijk solidifies top 4.
Yes.
Just finally, Stevie, does this
By the
mean...
way, hold on a second. He's actually arguing, because I'm saying it's solidifying, when he actually picked him to be in the top 4 anyway.
Yeah.
Without Van Dijk.
Yeah.
So
at the
how
start
can
of
you
the
turn
season.
mine into a negative
I'm
when
not.
they've actually added to what they've already got
I'm
that
not.
you picked would be in the top 4?
No, I'm not, but it's hardly guaranteeing top 4, is it? It's not solidifying top 4. It's giving them an opportunity
opinion.
that's probably better than having Lovren there, but it's
your
not
opinion.
solidifying. Sorry?
In your opinion,
In
my opinion, is it solidifies
All
in
right,
the top
guaranteed.
4.
Let's take a look, shall we, at the bottom half of the Premier League. And boy, it's extraordinarily tight down there. Just 6 points separate Bournemouth, who sit in 18th, up to Huddersfield, who sit in 11th. Going through the SPI, it says basically Swansea City, West Brom and Newcastle are the 3 teams that are going to go down. Swansea, of course, announcing the signing of a new coach today, Carlos Carvalhal, coming in. Stevie, who's your picks? Who's going down? Who's in big trouble here?
Absolutely, 100% going to agree with the SPI.
Wow.
I think Swansea are absolutely doomed already.
Is that a first?
West Brom.
Do you think they're already thinking about trying to get back up with this signing?
Oh, you mean the manager?
Yeah.
Carvajal coming in? Listen, if there's one thing that this is not going to do, it's going to inspire the players.
Right.
Because the players are going to go, who is this guy, and why are we bringing a guy in who just got the sack from a team in the lower division, what, 5 or 6 days ago? So, and plus the fact they're just not very good, Swansea, anyway, regardless.
So Swansea son.
Pep Guardiola.
Oh, right. Well, we got Manchester City
Oh,
back.
hang on.
Stevie, how did you do that?
We're on it again.
So Pep Guardiola couldn't save this mob, so forget that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go West Brom and Newcastle as well.
West Brom already made a change this season. Alan Pardew, of course, coming in.
You know, they're a team that could survive with a manager that sort of does what's happened previously with the likes of Pulis. Just another type of manager like Pulis, I think. with a different voice, same sort of pattern, though, just all about keeping the ball out the net. But I think Alan Pardew is going to come in, or certainly has already, and try to open them up and play a little bit more. And it just isn't working for me. They're not scoring goals. They're not losing too many. They're just going to stay where they are.
And Rafa's Newcastle.
Rafa's Newcastle. Is there anybody in Newcastle's team that would get into any other side as a forward, as bad as all the other teams are? Swansea are horrible going forward. But would you swap Wilfred Boney, for example, for any of the Newcastle strikers? I don't think you would. I just don't see how they're going to score enough goals to stay up.
Craig, do you agree?
Swansea are gone.
Yep.
They're stumbling from one disaster to another. Shambles down there. I think West Brom might get out of it.
Right.
Who else is there? I think Brighton and Hove Albion might get dragged into it.
Yeah.
Who else?
You tell me, Paul.
Southampton?
No, I agree with Steve. I think Newcastle will go. I think Swansea will go. But I think Brighton just, they can't score goals. Yeah, at the moment they're difficult to score against, but I just don't see that lasting. I mean, they're very, very thin on the ground as a squad-wise. That's what I'm going to say, Brighton.
Welcome into Extra Time, where we're just about getting over Mara's story about breaking his 10-year-old son's arm because he criticised his footballing ability. What's on him, Paul?
Well, Mr. Nicol nailed it. It wasn't very adult of me.
No, but there we go. That's all right. I'm intrigued. Before we get to the questions, like, Steve, you look at Van Dijk, yeah, 75 million.
Right.
You're obviously, you guys are all here now with us, not because maybe because you like it, but mostly because you need the money. Or you need to...
You pay us.
Yeah, exactly. Does part of you resent all of this that's going on, considering all three of you were as good as the players? You know, you look at the wages that they're getting.
No, you can't look... Listen, if you looked at it that way, then you'd never get out of your bed in the morning. Listen, when I was playing, the generation before me were on probably half of what I was getting. I mean, it's just the way it goes. And as I said, you can't look at it that way. If you looked at it that somebody's on £300,000 a week,
Yeah.
compared to 3 bags of chips and a can of Coke, then,
It's all right.
then you'd never last.
I think you wouldn't come in here every day, would you?
Well, I would miss out on this enjoyment.
Exactly.
Is what I would.
Manchester United bought a striker for the same amount as Van Dijk. How much is Mourinho's comment justified? He got another case to prove his point for sure.
No, he didn't.
I'm guessing this person's a Man United fan.
It certainly has that edge to it, doesn't it?
I'm getting bored of these United fans more than I'm with Mourinho. Making excuses, getting as bad as the manager. Let's not forget, back in 2002, they paid 30 million plus for Rio Ferdinand. Now, I can't do
so
the
much
maths
money.
exactly, but that's over 100 million now.
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, it's way over that for a centre half. I mean, come on, shut up and get on with it.
OK. With Liverpool getting Van Dijk, do they have a better chance in the Champions League than other English teams except Man City? Their attack is fearsome to any defence.
Listen, I am assuming that Van Dijk is going to make a huge difference to Liverpool's back line. But, you know, him coming in, as much as helps it, doesn't completely
Fix it.
fix it. You know, there's a huge question mark over the goalkeeper. In fact, let's just be honest, they need a new goalkeeper. They probably need a better left back. Robertson is solid. You can rely on him. Does make a lot of mistakes, but you know, you don't win the Premier League or you don't win any real titles with players who just kind of get it done. I think Alexander-Arnold at right back is not ready yet, but he's a player who I think could be ready shortly. So Van Dijk makes Liverpool better, but it doesn't solve all the problems defensively.
Final one. MVP for Man City this year.
You want me to say Kevin De Bruyne?
You can say whoever you like, Paul Mariner.
Look, Kevin De Bruyne is absolutely been fantastic. I mean, just think about that ball that dinked over last night for the goal for Sterling against Newcastle. Incredible weight of pass and vision and stuff.
You can throw David Silva in there if you want to get an out.
I am throwing David Silva.
If you want to get an out of your De Bruyne bashing from
How did you know I was going to say that? How did you know I was going to say that?
I can read your mind.
Well, you're right.
Because I know when your eyes...
Because I'm
what
telling
happens
you...
is your eyes start going from side to side. That's how I know you're thinking.
We do. When we do the team of the week, more or less he's always in for me, David Silva.
Yeah.
By the way, who would have guessed Sterling would have, what, 15 goals, is it?
16 in all comps.
Yeah.
16 in all? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Well, no, that might have changed from yesterday. Was yesterday Monday? What day is it?
Yeah.
No, yesterday was
Wednesday.
When did City play?
Yesterday.
17 in all comps, because I was doing it at the weekend and it was 16 at the weekend.
Who saw that coming?
17 Stevie in all comps.
No,
Yeah, right.
nobody.
I'm not saying he is, by the way. I'm just throwing his name in.
You do what you want, Stevie.
You like him? So he was right to leave Liverpool, wasn't he?
Ooh.
I'll tell you what.
Ooh.
For his own career right now.
It wasn't a good way he went about it.
No, that was the problem I had with him.
It was the right thing to do at the time, but the wrong way
It's
to
the
go
right
about
thing
it.
to do for his career because Manchester City were, because of the money they were going to, were spending and were always.
You getting a haircut tonight?
I am as well.
You getting your eyebrows cut?
Need it done. No, I can't see you properly. I'm going to do that because my eyebrows are in the
We
way.
can't focus in his eyebrows, can we? Oh my God. Look,
Oh, Stevie, that's not your best face.
they need a,
Yeah, this is it. Doesn't get any better than this.
they need a trim.
There you go.
There's everything in there. There's fridge freezers in there, microwave ovens,
If you find any money in there, it's
pies,
mine.
chips, pizzas with pineapple on them.
No, see, you're backing up the wrong tree. Food, you won't find any food in there.
That's it. We're done.
You want to take that approach?
We'll be back tomorrow for more ESPN
Go,
FC.
bro.
We'll be looking back at Napoli's game. You can join us 5:30 Eastern on ESPN News.